It's important to remember so we don't forget.
I feel like we have to remember, because with the whole deal of like, we have to make a big deal about remembering, because things like this are happening out of ignorance, and ignorance is due to like not knowing and choosing not to know. So if we like make it like powerful and strong, then they have no choice but to like listen, and then it's no longer an act of ignorance, it's an act of hate, it's choice.
We kind of have to remember is a lot of people, like, they make a little bit of a hubbub about it when it's on the news. Rarely anyone's based. Leela Alcorn and people, they got like only like 5 or 4 minutes on news if they were lucky, and maybe like one channel actually spent the time explaining what had happened. It's kind of, people see it as something like, oh no, something bad happened, and then they forget about it in the next couple hours or the next week, and we need something to remember because no one else is gonna.
Transgender Day is important to me because transgender people are human too, so everybody should be treated equally. Though they might like a certain type of gender, doesn't mean that they're not human. So they should not be treated differently, and that's what causes them to commit suicide and be lost by people who are dear to them. So I think to remember them is a day is just for we can remember every transgender person that ever existed on this earth, and be grateful for them and pray for them.
Trans Day of Remembrance is a day where we remember trans lives that we've lost, and even though we lost them, the struggle that they went through is still alive. And it's important to remember those who fought for how far we've come along, because we are nowhere near where we want to be ideally, but for us to even be where we're at today, we've lost so many people who, a lot of people feel like we're lying to society, but really, like, reality was actually keeping true to themselves. And we live in a world where we should be free to be who we are, not just love who we are, but be internally who we truly are. And those souls are the ones that we remember, because their courage is what helps us realize we need to get these laws set in motion, or we need people to have this knowledge and awareness, not to disrespect, but to spread more love. And at times like this, it's when people actually want to come together and not fight, but just remember, and that's important, because those memories will live on forever.
Trans Day of Remembrance is very important, mostly because there's so many people in my life who are trans or genderqueer, or somewhere like outside or inside the gender binary in some way, that are not cis, and I get so worried for them in their ways of life and how they're managing to succeed in their ways despite all the controversy of their just being themselves. And I get so nervous when I see all of those murders on TV and on Tumblr and any other place, and I just get even more worried. And this day is even more important now that I know that the number has gone up to 22, and it's 22 more than what is necessary, which is completely unnecessary. But it's I don't know, I just get really hyper-vigilant of my brothers and sisters in the trans experience.
I think this is a very important day to remember, because all of the trans people who have been killed, and even people who are still alive, and those who have been committing suicide, they have struggled to set a normality for trans people and to make them accepted in the society. So that is something to be respected, especially being someone who is gender nonconforming, who affiliates with the trans community. People who don't identify with the binary, all these people who have struggled so hard and still end up falling short. We need to continue this path in making what it is to be trans something that is accepted in the society. So to me, that's why this day is really important.
If we forget people's struggles and what they've gone through, we're invalidating their entire life and everything that they've been sad over, anything that's happened in general. So if we just forget about it, it's almost like it happened for nothing.